So in this Q&A we've got a three-part question from Joe about the tax man and trading Betfair for a living, getting potential credit as a Betfair trader, and finally other problems that you may run into when taking the leap. Okay, thanks for the question there, Joe. Top-notch question. Going to go deep as much as I can on this one and answer it as fully as possible. I can relate to all three of those points, and hopefully I can provide some great answers for them. So before I do though, actually, anyone else who's watching this, if you've got any questions for the Q&A, feel free to submit them in the comments below. So first of all, tax and trading Betfair for a living. Now, many moons ago, when I went full-time, I called HMRC. Long and drawn out, painful process if ever you've done it, and I got nowhere. Long and short of it was, as far as HMRC are considered in the UK, consider betting, it's not a winning thing. Nobody wins betting. That was their attitude, and even if you do, we don't want to know about it. It's an accounting nightmare because we have to look at your losses as well as your wins, and you know, it's just not going to be considered. I'm led to believe that at least one other person I know of, if you're really that bothered about it, you can write to them and they'll send a letter headed back saying that, you know, betting is a non-taxable activity and therefore you're not ever going to run into any nasties in the future. So if that's really bothering on your mind there, Joe, then it's probably worth writing off to them. I haven't done it and I'm not considered, you know, I'm not really worried about it either. Second point, it's probably the most interesting one of the three here. It's one that I can relate to, and if you search back on the blog you'll see there's a couple of posts about it as well. Very frustrating experience. If you're highly profitable or not, it doesn't really matter. I've never had any problems with credit, like getting phone contracts or anything like that, so I guess my credit rating's absolutely fine with that. However, if it comes to property or anything where they want to look a little bit deeper, and they want to know what your income is, and they want to know, you know, who your employer is and all that kind of stuff, getting a mortgage, you've got no chance. I remember distinctively being sat in the bank manager's office in Barclays. I'd been in and I'd spoke to someone, I already had a significant amount of money put aside, and then wanted to just get a top up to get some property at the time, get a mortgage, and it was a no-go. And I remember sitting in the office with a bank manager with my statements there, and one clearly had 9 grand on from 1 month and the other one had 12 grand profit for the month afterwards, and we just sat there and laughed at each other because there's basically not a tick box for this in the UK. In, you know, where I've been, you might find some sort of higher risk lenders that may be able to do something for you. I don't really know. It's not something I wanted to go down, high percentage payback, but you know, the banks and the credit companies, they look at it just like HMRC does. As far as they're concerned, it's just a no-go. Even if you're sat there with the statement and a huge amount of money coming in each month, tax-free, with, you know, no expenses going out, it's not going to be entertained. In fact, the bank manager was more interested in finding out how does he do this, and how does this trading malarkey work, and what is it that allows you to make money. So it will definitely stir some interest, but not of the kind that you want. You're not going to get a mortgage with that. You said you're a young person there as well, Joe, so I think, you know, just a bit of side advice, if anything, you could potentially maybe get sort of side income on the go. If you are trading full time, there's a bit of space of time in the mornings. It's obviously where it's all started for me with the website and stuff. And just build on it from there. And the only other thing to say, as a younger person, look longer term. So like, I think people look very short term financially a lot of the time, and it never really produces the best results. The longer term and the more patient you are in terms of finance and looking further to the future, if you're going to get property and trade for a living and all that sort of stuff, then it will serve you better, it will serve you well. Finally, other problems that you may run into. So you're probably already aware of a few points such as premium charge. That's always a real pain getting around that one. Trading for a living, being at home, people around you, your environment, where are you going to trade? Are you going to trade in an office away from home? If you're at home, have you got children? If you have, that could potentially be a problem. a partner, just getting it to fit in with your whole life. And then of course you've got other things such as like today. I mean, obviously I'm at home today, and that's because the bad weather and the snow, the racing's off. There's no point even sitting in the office today because there's so little to trade. I end up looking at things that I wouldn't normally do. So I'd rather enjoy the time off, which is obviously a benefit in some respects, but at the same time you've got to be aware if there's long periods of snow and bad weather and the racing's called off and you're focusing on racing particularly, then you know it's basically taking away your opportunity to make money that day. So if you haven't got enough money stockpiled and you're not squared away enough, then that could be a little bit scary. And then side by side with that, I guess it's quite obvious in some respects, but illness. So if you end up really ill, you haven't got an employer that's going to carry on paying you and all that kind of stuff. So you need to consider them things. And then I guess the only other thing, which I've struggled at points in periods of time in the past, motivation. If you make, I think the most demotivating factor is when you make so much money as well, just because it's just like, right, I don't have to. But think about that. How are you going to stay motivated? How are you going to structure your routine, your day, your environment, people around you? Are you going to save up a load of money beforehand? It's advisable to have sort of like 6-12 months worth of income put aside so you can live if something goes horribly wrong, like I said, illness, snowed off, whatever. And just plan further ahead and think longer term, like I said on the second point there. But hopefully that answers all 3 points of your question there, Joe, quite well. If you've got any more, feel free to bang them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.